Would you be okay if your woman or your wife earns more than you?
Very
Cancelling question.
Very good question, Apoorva. Thank you. But I believe that if you truly want fame and if you have money, you'll get the fame. If I have the money, I'll be able to support my family and my loved ones.
Yeah.
But if I have the fame that of the world, I'll be able to support the world.
Oh, that's good.
What are your male role models?
But if I had to pick one on the top of my out of the top of my mind, I think a guy that I look up to is Shah Rukh Khan.
The part to the 1% is not that easy. Like, you have to be like the best version of yourself in order to be that 1%.
Do you think that's a sign of strength or weakness? Men crying.
You always come up with the toughest questions.
Just.
What is your opinion?
I'm not answering my own question. This is not how it works. I was the only one who was not going to get cancelled, and now it's all people who are cancelled.
I spit raps like a heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with them.
Alright guys, welcome to the Productive
Procrastination
Podcast.
Cheers boys.
Cheers, brother.
Second episode.
Cheers, guys. Also, water again.
Why does this make me?
Alright boys. So what are we going to be discussing in today's episode?
Today, our core topic, which the topic I love the most and also one of the most controversial topics right now on the internet, masculinity and toxic masculinity in general. And let's begin with what is masculinity in general? What do you think of masculinity? And what do you think of toxic masculinity?
So I think we'll get into toxic masculinity a bit later. Let's first talk about what it really means to be a man, what masculinity is, and I just wanted to ask both of y'all, what is the core essence of being a man? Rajveer, go first.
The core essence of being a man. It's a very difficult question because, like, before, about 100 years ago, let's say, masculinity was, maybe not 100 years ago, let's say long before that, masculinity was mainly associated with behavior that a male does.
Yeah.
But over the years, decades, centuries, it has evolved a lot. Masculinity is very complex concept to speak about now and multifaceted concept.
It is true. Yeah, I agree.
Because it's not limited to one gender or males specifically. It's more widespread, diverse than that. Yeah, seriously, it is.
I know. I just sorry.
Because earlier, let's say, pehle it was associated with physical strength.
Yeah.
As the breadwinner.
Yeah, you're right.
Breadwinner and dominance, aggression.
Yeah.
Also, responsibilities.
I agree.
That stuff.
So my definition of for me, the core essence of a man is to provide for his family. Like, nothing comes before providing for his family. And the second is, I think, fulfilling his purpose in life, finding his fulfillment, finding his meaning. Like, the reason why he's here, I think all of us, like, as men, I think we are fulfilled when we are working towards something, when we're achieving something, when we're setting goals, when we're setting deadlines, and we want to accomplish these goals. I think that's what fulfills our dreams as a man. So, for me, the core essence is first of all, of course, strength is there. The honor is there, of course. Strength and honor, if you remember from Gladiator.
Of course, we'll get into that also, for sure.
So strength, honor, courage, justice, wisdom. These are all, I think, like the fundamentals of. But it does not have to limit to being for a man. But like, it's
A person,
yeah.
regardless of gender. What do you think?
So, as I think both of you all covered it very well as to how masculinity has evolved over time, and also, as Apoorva mentioned, the basic stuff that people say, we have strength, we have honor, we have wisdom, all of this is the core essence of being a man. But I'd like to talk about something that I don't think people usually speak about much, and that is that I feel as a man, the core essence is the mindset to conquer.
Yeah.
And I think not many people talk about this. I think it's important for a man to have that mindset of being wanting to conquer certain fields. It can be anything. Suppose if you are interested in working out and going to the gym, you could simply conquer the gym by becoming stronger, by improving, by just constantly becoming a better version of yourself. And I think that essence of wanting to conquer something, just that essence of wanting to conquer, is something that's, I think, deep rooted in each man. And to be honest, in today's time, it is dying. Conquer is, as before, conquer was something glorious, right? That's what kings used to do.
Right.
People wanted more of land, people wanted more power, they used to conquer. But now, if you really think about it, the word conquer, it's something not as, it's not associated to being a great man as such, but it's something negative, and I don't know why it is. But I think that mindset of, not being a settler, but instead always constantly seeking to explore and conquer, is something that every man should do, essentially, to achieve something, right? And flowing into that also, like, according to y'all, in today's time, what activities do you think associate with being masculine? What activities do people do in today's time that increases masculinity and can associate with masculinity? What do you think, Apoorva?
So I actually want him to go first because his answer kind of depends on my answer depends on his, isliye.
Really?
Yeah, so because his answer is little. Usually, I want to hear Rajveer's perspective first.
And then this is how our convos usually go. Apoorva hears what me and Rajveer have to say, and then he fucking debates that. So, okay, Rajveer, why don't you go first? What activities do you think people engage in for masculinity?
It's very, what activities in particular?
Yeah, like just anything that men engage in to show their masculine side, or anything that will, increase their masculinity. It could be anything. What do you think?
Okay, so it's not limited to men only, but yeah, that's the thing. Have that hobby,
Hands-on, yeah, I agree.
hands-on experience.
Using your hand.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
The ability to build something.
To build
That is truly a thing that is lacking in many men today. What do you think, Apoorva?
I think.
Please debate.
No, I don't disagree with him, but I just want to say ki, like, regarding to his point, I think strength is something which is missing. Like, a lot of people right now, I don't know in India, but a lot of people in America, I've heard, is like 80% 80% of people are obese right now. And
yeah, the obesity rate.
I've heard that if you like get a six-pack, you're like in like the top 1% of men worldwide. Yeah. And you don't even need to have that much money. Like, if you get a six-pack, you're in top 1% of men worldwide. And that was something which was like, bro, like, a lot of people don't actually, like, do they, like, have they lost that competitive edge to compete with other men or to compete with yourself? Forget competing with other men, compete with yourself in general. Like, for me, like, a man is to live beyond his edge. First, find his edge. What actually drives him off that cliff? Not literally, but and like just lean beyond his deepest fears and trying to conquer
Face
them.
your fears.
Face your fears.
Conquer them.
So I think there are some masculine activities, but it's not really limited to men in general. But I would say it benefits men more than women. I just have that opinion.
True. I think they've covered a lot of it, but I think some other points, activities that men can usually engage in to increase their masculinity or just showcase their masculinity. As he said, strength is one of the most important ones. I think if you're a man, or if you want to be a real man, I think you have to be the strongest version of yourself. I think going to the gym or simply engaging in some physical activity that gets you stronger. I think it's very important as a man to know how to fight. That's something that every man should know how to do. I'm not telling you to be a professional fighter, but you should know how to throw a punch, because you should have that innate desire to be able to protect the people around you. And I think engaging in a combat sport such as boxing, as you can see, I do. I think that brings out a side of you that every man should experience. And I think simply getting stronger, going to the gym, lifting heavy weights, as he already mentioned, learning how to fight, all of this brings out that masculine side of you, that boost of testosterone that most men need, and that's lacking in today's time. Like,
Also, a healthy diet, because
Healthy diet.
a lot of people, we all love eating McDonald's and stuff, but we all know that it's not good for us in the long run. So having eggs and all, a healthy, proper, balanced diet is something which is missing.
When Apoorva said about the obesity rate in America, a few days earlier I was reading this article about obesity rate in Japan. You see, people there are really healthy and fit. Because the fast food joints in America, like every second store, it's a McDonald's, Burger King, etc. Whereas in Japan, Instead of those stores, there are stores or restaurants where they provide this bowl or something, rice bowl or something.
True.
Healthier diet. That's why it's less than single digit or something. It's 0.3 or 3%, somewhere in between. Obesity rate.
Also, one thing I forgot is also courage. Like he talked about war. People were ready to go for war. People used to sign up to war. And right now, I mean, us, I don't know in general, but like in general, a lot of people don't have the courage to even face their fears.
Like honestly, think about it in today's generation. How many men would choose to go to war? If you honestly think of it, like people
How many men would choose to die willingly? That's also
choose to die for their not only country but just choose to put their life at risk. I think that willingness has gone down tremendously in our generation. You know, people don't see that desire to risk their life for another or even for the country.
For
Like,
an ideology.
for an ideology also. I think that's a good one. What else? What other?
I had a question like, would you risk dying to fulfill your purpose?
I think that's a good question, because I'll tell you something. For me personally, I think for me legacy is more important than the life I'm living right now. And let me try to explain it. So for me, it's important to leave a mark on this world, and it's in some way. I am obsessed about having a legacy or leaving a mark, even if it puts my life at risk. So I don't mind putting my life at risk, but it has to be for something that will edge my name in history.
Truly believe it.
That I truly believe in. You know, like I don't want to live a like I would rather choose to put my life at risk and leave a mark on this planet rather than just live a normal life, not put my life at risk, but die not being remembered by the world in the coming years. What about you? What do you think? Would you risk your life for?
Depends on the ideology. Also, the thing you said about, dying in war. I guess most men or most people would not sign up, for wars right now, because I guess over the past century or so, we have been, there's, all the data being thrown at us, and we have sort of realized that we are much bigger than, this country or nationalism feelings. It is important to some extent, but we also see, the loopholes in that. Because you're dying for your country. I'm not trying to, minimize
I know.
reduce the risks that, soldiers and so many people take to, protect the
Respect
country
for them,
and,
actually.
citizens.
Yeah.
It's hugely important. I think, more people should sign up for that. It takes real courage for that. But all the data thrown at, especially the younger generation, it has opened up, thought process has changed a lot.
I agree with you, actually, honestly.
And it's not just, a specific gender thing, or it's the cultural phenomenon that has changed over the past century.
Do you think men in general have become weak or weaker than we were last 50 years?
Define weaker.
As in, have you heard of that the 4 cycle thing? So basically it says hard times create strong men, strong men create weak times, strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. So I think I think what I'm talking about is the weak men create good times days. Like we've become very comfortable in our own environment. We're like, oh yeah, let's just take a day off, let's just not go to the gym today, and let's just I don't want to face the fear of rejection, so let's just not talk to that girl at the bar and all. So and let's just stay home and just order takeout and just eat some McDonald's. Who cares? I mean, I'll just live another day. And so let's just play video games, because I have 1 hour to waste, so why not just play some video games? That kind of deprives of our core essence of being a man, as your question is.
Yeah, true. I think you spoke about a very good thing. I think men are becoming weaker, definitely, and as you defined, weakness was pretty much how I think of it. I think weakness, I think the ability to. So I think looking at it from a bigger perspective, I think social media, TikTok, porn, all of this is killing the mindset that men used to have as compared to what men have now.
True.
These are very big problems in our time today, and I think most men, this is a very sensitive topic, but most men struggle with this, which is the addiction of porn. And I think that has made men weak to such an extent that they don't really see the long-term repercussions of it. They substitute the act of going out there, as you said, and meeting a beautiful woman in the bar, talking to her, putting in that effort, facing your fear, substitute all of that to just sitting at home and watching porn, and that just shows weakness, right?
That's
And
true.
that is something that most men go through, and the fact that they don't even think that they're doing something wrong is what scares me. For them, it's like, yeah, cool, it's the same feeling, right?
So it's the fact for me that what you said. The fact for me is that they're not scared of death. Like I'm a guy who wants to accept death, but I'm still scared of it, right? So it's like, if I'm gonna die tomorrow, what is my legacy? And that kind of scares me. Like, have I fulfilled my potential?
Yeah.
And bro, the fact that no one else thinks like that, it's that's what scares me. Like, am I the only one? Am I cursed with knowledge or something? I don't understand, because
Yeah.
The burden of it,
It is,
having
yeah.
a purpose.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, as you said, I think, earlier the energy, over thousands of, years, it was mostly physical, but now over the past century or something, it's mostly psychological. Because we are not able to, channel that energy apart from, sports, gym, etc. towards anything else. So all this advertisement and stuff.
Oh, Fight Club.
Fight Club,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
All the internet and stuff, it's causing us to go here and look for the same dopamine hits.
Yeah.
Like 50 years ago, you would have built something or repaired something on a Sunday. Maybe you're repairing a car or
True.
build a chair or table,
True.
and that would have released a dopamine hit, and you would have got that, okay, I've done something today.
Yeah.
Now we just go through social media for like 30
Scroll
minutes.
through social media.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful point about dopamine. Like I know quite a lot about how men have substituted dopamine
From
release
the-
from
yeah.
what it was before to what it is now, and it's truly saddening to see that dopamine release is mostly experienced by men through drugs, through alcohol, through porn, as we spoke about, through all of these different things that men shouldn't do, that they used to not do before. And they used to instead get that dopamine release by doing something good for society, by doing something good for their family, by just helping the world or themselves. But it's all being replaced now by such stupid shit, right? And do you think this is being pushed by the Matrix as such?
Oh.
Do you think the Matrix
Yeah.
wants people or men to become weak?
Before the Matrix thing, I wanted to say that it's not necessarily a bad thing that we have so much internet and so much data at our hand.
Yeah.
It has its liberty, because there are so many people who have unlimited potential right now,
Yeah.
and so many people are going down that drain instead of utilizing it, because there are
Yeah.
over the past 2 decades, you could look at people in Silicon Valley, world leaders, how they have utilized it and stuff, and
He's
gone
right.
to the top. Celebrities.
True.
It's how we use the products. It's how we use the technology. How we leverage the technology. I agree.
Yeah.
Regarding what is the question about the Matrix? See, okay, I didn't 2 years ago. I didn't believe there is something like the Matrix. I was like, yeah, there's nothing like that, bro. Come on, please. Now I think my opinion has changed. I think there is a shortcut. People say there's no shortcut to making money and all, right? Like there is no fast lane. I agree with the get rich quick. There are the get rich quick schemes are like the scams, but like I'm talking about the fast lane. Like if you look at the digital billionaires, the digital millionaires, people look at them, they're like, oh yeah, these are the .com billionaires, and these guys are just, they're not hard earned, they're not worked as hard as we have done, the brick and mortar businesses. But I think they found out these specific leverage points. They've found that there's an easy shortcut to making money, and making money is nothing but just a game, and we're all just the players in the game. And they found the shortcut and they've gone through it, and then people, of course there'll be hate from people because they want what they can't have, like.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what regarding the Matrix, I do believe that there's a lot of I don't know about Elon Musk popped in my head, so I think he's trying to change the Matrix.
Yeah.
But like the
Elon
other
Musk is someone who every man must look up to, and we'll come
great
to
guy.
it.
But I think yes, the Matrix. I mean, I don't know if you call it the Matrix, but I guess it is true. It is real.
Yeah, like I think if you look at it, society today is becoming weaker for a reason. We know society is becoming weaker. That's a fact. Okay, we know that men are becoming weaker and stuff. And why is it happening? People are not really addressing it as such. But I think the reason for it is to keep us in control. I think it's easier to control a flock of sheep as long as for the shepherd, as long as they are in control. But the shepherd can't obviously control a pack of wolves, right? The wolves will eat that shepherd apart. So it's definitely easier to keep those sheeps intact within those boundaries or the fences as such. And I think they do that through multiple social media platforms, by cutting down our attention span, by promoting all of these OnlyFans, all of these other stuff, right? Just to make men so addicted to something that makes them weaker, and that essence of masculinity, that testosterone that men used to have before, where they used to rebel such things, and such things should not even cross their mind. But in today's time, I literally look around, and most guys my age have either experiencing it right now or have experienced it in the future, have experienced it in the past. And it's scary. It's really scary. And according to you all, like, how do you not get influenced by all of these desires as such that are everywhere around us? Let be it as he spoke about, be it junk food, be it eating that donut, eating that McDonald's, watching that video, just all those desires that are there around us to make us weaker. How do we, you know, not fall for it and choose to be a real man as such? How do we do that? How do you all do it?
Okay, so like being a real man in today's world.
Yeah, and
not How falling do-
for those desires that are all around us.
See, the thing is, having desires is very natural.
True.
You can't escape. We had
I
that
agree.
thousands of years ago. We have that now. Just the source of it is different. The way we do it is different. Things are changing. In the modern world, there are advantages to it, to having that easy access to stuff.
Yeah.
It saves time, you could, go do a different, more productive thing if you're, on that path. But there are drawbacks, obviously.
Yeah.
In a modern world, it's, the definition of being a good man has changed.
Yeah.
Masculinity,
Yeah,
the
yes.
concept, the essence of it has changed. Earlier, as I said, there was physical strength,
Yeah.
the providing thing.
Yeah.
There was also emotional restraint. Now we have,
Good
with
one.
awareness and stuff,
True.
we are much more open to, addressing mental health issues of men. It's still, a work in progress. We are more a good man, as I feel, is more open to, giving women or people of other gender equal opportunities while, being very respectful to them, supporting them,
Hmm.
and also like doing good stuff, staying disciplined.
Yeah. I agree. Doing the habits.
Yeah.
So how do you stay disciplined with all the
So
desires
okay,
around?
so I was gonna say, like regarding the earlier question, how do you overcome the desires and all?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like self-control, but moderation. Like moderation is key, and everything you can eat once a while, like you can eat once a week or twice a
How
week.
much is fine? How do you
No, but
draw
like
the
what
line?
I'm saying is, if you want to be a superior man, if you
Yeah.
want to be a part of the 1%,
Yes.
it does not matter. Like the junk food has to go for sure, because if your core purpose calls you,
Yeah.
nothing else will matter. It's just the purpose and purpose itself. It's just your ambition,
Mm.
and you know your path. Like you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the courage to remove the bad habits in your life, if you want, see, the part to the 1% is not that easy. Like you have to like hustle. You have to remove those bad habits, and you have to be like the best version of yourself in order to be that 1%. So I was gonna say, just eat junk food once a week. It doesn't matter, guys. But now I believe like if in order to be a true best self, like it really, as a man, it won't matter. Like the junk food will go.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you put it perfectly. Like self-control has to be there if you want to be a top 1% man. Most men know what they have to do and what they don't have to do. They know it. Most men know that this is something that I need to engage in. This is something I should not engage in. But they still choose to do that, not because they don't have that drive. They don't have that purpose that they want to fulfill. For them, I think happiness is more important than pride. Like they would rather be happy in the moment and have consumed that drug or have that alcohol because that makes them happy that time, but they don't want to be you're not proud of yourself doing that, right? You're happy but you're not proud, and I think most men choose to be happy over proud at that moment. But if you are a real that 1% man, and if you have that purpose that you want to accomplish in the future, I think giving up certain things is necessary. As he said, sugar, junk food, there's so many other things, and men know this, but they don't give a fuck about it, and that's really scary. But it's fine, right? It's easy for us because it makes that path much easier for us because there's less of y'all to compete with, and like that's true, right? Like I mean, if there before it used to be like if we had the same goal like 1,000 years ago, if we all wanted to be the king of the castle, everyone around wanted to be the king of the castle. At least most of them used to try to do it, and it used to be a very difficult way to get there. But now, if you want to really make it, like 7 of you all are like losers. You all don't give a fuck, and it's true that they need to hear it. Like some of them need.
Sorry guys, if you
Some of them need to hear it. Like there are a few of y'all that are on this path, right? That want to really make it, but a few of y'all don't give a fuck about it, and that's fine. But I think the ones that really are on this mission that I know that these two are on and that I'm on, we really have to slog it out. Like right now, right? We just have to give up all of that shit and just go for it. You know?
Plus, I think you feel better when you actually have when you have delayed gratification in general, when you have sacrificed for the long term goal. Like, I'm not saying completely sacrifice everything and just sacrifice your happiness in like for completely for certain. Pata nahi, but like I'm just saying ki like what was I saying? What I was saying?
No, you don't have to sacrifice it completely.
So the thing is ki long term I completely forgot my train of thought.
So he's saying that I think what you're saying is, if you keep dealing gratification, I'll get better, then I'll enjoy life. Things will get better in the future. You are just pushing yourself without, there's that human thing. You'll reach a, threshold or something. After that, you'll be burnt out or, break down. Because you're putting so much effort into a future and, you're losing out on the present. I feel that's something.
Yeah, he's right. But another question, like, how much ambition do you think is like at what point do you think it is too much ambition? Is there something as too much ambition?
I'll get back to this. The thing about you said purpose ka thing. You guys said. Do you think purpose is something that is already made, or do you get to choose your purpose?
Should I go?
You go first.
I think you're born with a purpose.
Really? You think so?
I'm a man that believes in destiny. As much as it sounds very less of us, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God as such. We'll get to that on another day. But I do believe that we are all fated for something. I think we are born with a purpose, and we have the option to choose to fulfill it or not. Like, we're not forced to. I think the universe has given us the skills, has given us this road that we have to go on, but we still have to drive the car. If you don't want to drive the car, if you want to take a U-turn and go to some other road, that's on us. But I think we are born with a purpose, and most of us recognize it at a very young age. I think most of the men, women, whatever, they recognize that purpose that they have in life at a very young age, but they choose if they want to pursue it, or if they don't want to take that risk and instead choose to take some other path. For me personally, I think it's much more riskier to go for your purpose because it's a much more difficult path that the universe has made for you. I think your purpose, that path of your purpose, is the hardest road you can take in life, but it has the best reward in the end. That's what I believe. So there are many other easier routes to go through that you can go through in life, but that purpose wala road is the most difficult one, covered with the most obstacles, but that
the most fulfillment
at the end, and that's how you'll know that's your purpose in life. What do you think?
Actually, I was gonna say, I thought purpose is not something you're born with, but after hearing his answer, I kind of agree with him. It's kind of like a calling, and it's like it's the calling we all fear, but it's the calling we all have to attend to. Right?
That was a good quote.
And it's like it's calling you. It's like, bro, you have to do that. You have to do that. You have to do that. But you're like, no, bro. I mean, I have my parents. I have my family. I have these issues with me and all. But it is the right thing to do in the end.
Yeah, I think every man knows. He knows he has to do this, but he doesn't do it, and that's increasing a lot more in today's time, right? But I'm curious. You said that before I spoke about my answer. I thought
purpose is something that you made with.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
I guess if you're in a if you're in a privileged household, your purpose will be to I don't know. I mean, it can be. Now I'm confused because the born thing you said. But like purpose thing is like if you're like something it was like if your environment is good, your purpose will naturally be to like scale your family business or like provide like love and joy to your parents. It's not that tough compared when you're like if you're like in the gang neighborhood and your purpose is to like just survive and thrive and just like so if you take 50 Cent as an example, in his neighborhood a lot of people, like all of them were gangsters. He was the only one who survived. Like he didn't survive. He did live in those gang neighborhoods, but he was the one who made an impact, who started writing songs. He was like, no bro, this is my calling and I need to fulfill it. Others were like, oh yeah, let's just have some get some drugs, let's get some cocaine and all.
So do you think that path that you're talking about, do you think they felt that was their purpose because they were born in it?
I think it's because of this environment, the circumstances. So it's like 50 Cent had a choice. He had, again, it's the calling. He had a calling. He had to choose between living his, staying with his buddies and staying with his friends, homies as we call it, or leaving them and going on a mission alone to rap, to record, and to fulfill his ambition. So it's something his environment, his circumstances made him do. But then again, now that I think about it, it is more related to something you're born with.
Do you think the calling as such is something that is a very real thing? You have a calling, every man has a calling?
I don't think that there's only one certain thing.
Okay.
That's my point of view, that there are certain things, that you have a slight inclination to, and it's your choice to, put in the effort. Also, like the environment, the childhood plays a huge role in it, but you're not limited by that. I feel a lot of people are, limited by the, okay, I have this childhood trauma, past relationship trauma. Because of that, I'm, staying away from that, doing that. I feel that's just a story we keep telling ourselves to, to stay within that. I think from this moment on, you can choose to be a completely different person if you put your mind towards it. And, you have this, we are modern, we are living in this day. We cannot, just, completely get out of it. So that's sort of, you're just limiting yourself, I feel. A lot of people do it. That's, there's the conditioning. Childhood has affected them. It truly has.
Yeah.
But after a point now, they are just, keep telling themselves the story, and, keep hurting themselves and keep them in the environment because that's more comfortable than, taking the risk and, actually, going for something that they truly deserve and will truly bring the happiness. Also, one thing you said about happiness, right?
Yeah.
The short-term thing, I don't feel that's happiness. Like, what I feel happiness is something fulfilling. It brings you peace. Not in the short term for a few seconds or a few minutes or a few hours, but something you have that when you choose that lifestyle or when you're, working towards that goal. The work itself is so rewarding now, even though it's very tiring and you
fulfilling.
Will feel burned out. Yeah. There's something about
That's
it.
the thing, like how you started the podcast with was where you said that the essence of accomplishing a certain task or getting some work done is the essence of being a man. And that's when you feel like a man, is when you complete that day's work, even though it's very tiring, it's very shit, but you got it done, and that's what makes you happy and proud of yourself, right?
I agree.
That's the thing that associated with men for a lot of time.
Yeah.
But you see women building stuff and even they feel. That's the thing about humans, I feel, about building. Of course, masculinity has a part in it because over thousands of years men are more inclined towards it, but the process of building something, doing something, taking action.
One thing I want to ask you, Rajveer, is like, do you think how much do you think of masculinity should a woman have? I'm talking about a life partner. I'm talking about a life partner in general. Should she be more feminine in nature or masculine in nature?
Okay, like what do you mean by masculine and feminine?
You're laughing.
I'm gonna get cancelled for this, guys. I'm done. After this, I'm not gonna be there. Bye.
So what I'm talking about is
last
like
episode for me, guys. Bye.
So okay, I'll go for.
Go.
You are only going. I'm not going.
Okay, so like modern day, as I said, it's being more open to ideas, supporting others, being respectful, taking the action, taking the lead when necessary, while also making sure that everyone is doing that. That's masculinity has evolved its and
Yeah.
expressing emotions,
Yeah.
mental health.
Oh,
A lot of
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
great scientists, physicists, men in war, they go through so much trauma and they are not able to express it. And usually throughout a lot of years, women have been more pushed to that they are more emotionally sensitive. I feel that even men are, and they it's good that they are.
It's good to vent it out, to express it. Yeah,
It's
I agree.
good to vent it out in a healthy way. You
Yeah.
don't have to channel that anger or something towards someone or something in a harmful way.
True.
But in a good way. And there's that stigma or gender stereotype that females are more sensitive. I feel that they can be very brave and bold, and it depends on the individual in the end.
Rajveer and I had discussed something similar to this, where we were talking about chivalry.
Chivalry.
So you wanna just bring that question up?
Okay, so chivalry. Okay, I just want to go ahead first. What are your male role models in the current day and
So
age?
you're talking about the masculinity
No.
figures.
In the current day and age. I'm not talking about Marcus Aurelius and stuff.
Can we talk about fiction characters? Like I want to say Batman, because Batman's kind of my favorite.
Okay,
masculine. So for me, Batman represents a peak human. He's maxed out his strength. He's maxed out his courage. Like he had the choice. He was born in wealth. He did not need to work a day in his life. Yet his core fulfilling purpose was that he had to help the citizens of Gotham, and that's what he's like. And he shows up day in and day and night. Sorry, he shows up every night trying to save the citizens. Hope. So like, if you remember the Jim Gordon quote, right? He said, Batman said ki, it was all about like putting a coat on the boy's shoulders and showing him that the world hasn't ended. For
The
me,
whole thing.
yeah. So that for me, it's like, for me, Batman is like something I want to aspire to be like. But I know I can never be Batman. But if I can even get close to being him, I think that's one of my goals. in
Okay,
life.
you said one fictional character. What about one real world?
You cannot talk about Marcus Aurelius, right?
No, I'm not saying the old,
In real world.
because times were different then.
So for me, I don't really have many role models as such, but if I had to pick one on the top of my out of the top of my mind, I think a guy that I look up to, in at least in the recent times or like for the last few years, is Shah Rukh Khan, and I'll tell you why. Because a few reasons. Number one, I think he didn't have that advantage of being born wealthy, where it becomes so much more easier to do everything. You have that edge that you're born with, you have that upper hand that you're born with, which he didn't have. He started from the absolute bottom. Not the absolute bottom, but pretty
Still
much lower,
a
on the
middle
lower
class.
on the lower side, which most of us, much lower than actually most of us. Second, I think being on the top has not gotten to him as such. And what I mean by that is, even though he's the king of Bollywood, Badshah of Bollywood, right? He's made it. He can be an absolute prick like Salman. I mean, okay, fine, sure, whatever. But
Cancel again, guys. So this is
Salman Khan's coming to attack.
but
bye aa raha hai gaadi leke.
but the thing is, yeah. So about Shah Rukh, right? The thing is about Shah Rukh, right? He's as humble as they get even today, and I've seen it because from all the interviews you watch, and fine, people can say he's still pretending to be someone, he's still an actor and all that. I don't believe it. I think the man that he portrays in all these interviews, in the way he speaks, in the way he represents himself, and just how humble he is with women, with children, with the elderly. I think he's the kind of person you should aspire to be, and not just all of these traits that are there with him, that are there in him. He also has that essence of masculinity, which is ambition and drive, and all of this that has really gotten him to the top, because he wouldn't settle for anything else. I've heard him say this many a times, where he said that he wouldn't be happy if he was one of the best actors, or if he was a decently famous actor in Bollywood. He had to be the king, right? He had to be that topmost. And when he reached there, he wanted to show the world that even though you have reached the top of the castle, you've been the king of the castle, you can still be a good man, and you can still be humble, you can still be down to earth. And that is something that I really look up to, and that is something I really want to aspire to be like, even though I'm most likely, if I get there, I'll be like Salman only, I know that. But if I,
It's most of
and most people are like that, right? And I don't blame them, because if you have that fame, if you have that fortune, if you've made it right to the top, why won't you be a prick? Why won't you show the world like, I did it? Who the fuck are you? Who
But
are you to tell me?
don't you think when you like start getting arrogant, when you start getting that ego, don't you think that is the moment when it eventually leads to your downfall?
Okay, so the thing you said about Shahrukh, I feel is a great, figure to look up to.
Yeah.
As you said, he's respectful to women, children.
Very much.
He makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
He's very funny.
Very witty. His wittiness and his
Twitter account, if you see.
His charisma and his he's so witty.
Dude, he's so good. Plus, he's so ambitious.
Yeah.
Like, he sleeps, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, have a healthy lifestyle, but he's willing to sacrifice that sleep to, give people the content.
Yeah.
He's making use of that position he's in,
True.
push out good stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily some movies of his are bad, some are good, but he's still willing to, experiment with it. He's still willing to invest in, other companies, startups, medical things, and, not promote it, publicly like I'm doing all this.
True.
At the same time, he's, he says, the stuff like I'm last of the stars. He knows his worth, but he also knows that luck is a huge factor to it. He's worked hard for it. He's very humble too.
Yeah.
He's one of the best.
And I think not many people know this also, but I think the Shah Rukh fans might. But he also making, I think another very important essence of being a man is if you have made it and if you have that money and that fame, you put it to good use in the world, right? You help the people around you, you make the world a better place, and that is something Shah Rukh does. He has a foundation called the Muir Foundation, and I knew this, I'd forgotten the name, but he has a foundation called the Muir Foundation where he helps acid attack women.
Wow.
So he has that foundation where he provides opportunities to women that have been that have gone through acid attack, and that is something that just and he also has a foundation which helps underprivileged kids for education and stuff. So he's using all that money and that fame to good use, which not many people do. And that is something that a real person should really aspire to be like. When you've made it, you don't have to do anything. You can just sit back and enjoy with your family and save all that money for your generation. But no, he's spending it on non-profit organizations and he's using it to make the world a better place. And that is a true man for me.
Also, the thing, about, when you're so good professionally, the personal life, lot of, historical figures, professional figures that we have currently, the personal lives a lot of times mess up.
Struggles. Yeah. He's right.
With Shah Rukh's personal life, even him and Gauri Khan, they're such a power couple.
But his son?
Yeah. The Harim Khan,
So
there was controversy.
The thing is, I agree with you, but I agree with your point also that the personal life will struggle. But it's something. Okay, this is another question. Remember we had this debate before, like would you be a top 5% man and have everything, all kind of, like you have your family set, or be that 1%, that enigma, that 1% man is like the 0.001% and have like all the money you can have in the world. You're in private yards, you're enjoying life, but you have no one to share it with. What do you guys think? What would you choose?
So I think last time also I think Rajveer and I had the same answer. But as far as I remember, I think we told him we'd be that 0.001% man and choose not to choose to give up the people around to share it with, because just that's the ambition.
It fulfills your desire. It fulfills your purpose.
Yeah, that's the ambition and legacy that I want to leave behind, and it'll suck to not have anyone to share it with. And that's a very rare case, right? I know it's a good question, but that's a very rare case because when you're that 0.001%,
you make connections. You say
you have people around.
Yeah.
People want to be with you.
But
it's also that it's lonely at the top also, Aaryan.
It is lonely at the top of your mouth.
it's also because of your position they are there, not for the person you are, and you will never know if they are.
Oh, that is beautiful.
But that's the thing, right? Like, I think, we can still speak about Shah Rukh when it comes to this. His wife, right? They got married way before he was something.
Right.
And they're still together when he is the king of Bollywood. So I think you need to surround yourself with people that love you for the way you are or the person you were before you've made it. And I think it's very important. So the people that you find after you've reached on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, there's that scene in Luck by Chance. I'm, Bollywood centric over there, but that in the climax he gives this advice to Farhan plays this actor who was newly made it to one of the big names in the industry. And Shah Rukh gives him this advice that never forget the people who were there with you before you made it.
Never forget them.
Even in How I Met Your Mother, if you remember, the Barney, he says, whatever you do in this life, make sure you have like friends who you share it with. And that was beautiful. But another question that comes in my mind, this is something I want to ask you both, especially if there's no one else there. But what I'm saying is, money or fame? Only choose one. Fame is, you have all the fame in the world. Everyone knows you, everyone loves you. No money.
No.
All the money in the world. No fame.
Fame brings
You're
money.
nobody.
Fame brings money.
I know it brings money, but you have to choose one.
You're saying one over the other or one
So
against
you
the
didn't
other?
specify the type of fame because you can get.
No, it's
fame by,
it's positive fame. Like, it's not infamous.
It's
You're good.
Not the negative kind of.
It's
fame.
not the negative kind, but you're like a charity guy, so you don't get a lot of money.
Like the charity guys.
So
Either you have wealth or you
have
the
fame.
positive
Yeah.
fame, positive image.
what would
in
you
front of
choose?
the world.
I want to ask you guys.
This is something that I've had a debate with myself many times, because choosing a certain path that I want, or that mission that I want to go on, it also depends on fame or fortune. That's a very big question.
Yeah.
Because if I want fortune, then maybe it should be more business centric, or it should be more trying to escape that rat race by doing something, but that might not make you famous. But I believe that if you truly want fame, and if you have money, you'll get the fame. Because I understand, but if I had to choose either or, I would choose fame.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about, okay, you know Nikola Tesla, of course, right?
Yeah.
Both of you know Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Genius, an inventor of his time.
Yeah.
He died penniless. He died with no money. So you choose the life of Nikola Tesla. Otherwise, you have Thomas Alva Edison, and he was also a genius guy, but he had lots of he had money, not as genius as Nikola Tesla, but he had money, and he died with a good amount of fortune. So again, are you sure you want to choose fame?
100%. 200%.
Is it all about because of leaving a legacy?
Not only that also, but it's about influencing people. I think money.
But Aaron, I get your point. But what is the point of influencing people if you don't have the money to to cater to your family's needs? That's what I'm saying.
I understand, but the thing is, hear me out. See, if I have the fortune, right? Okay, that's a good point you put out. If I have the money, I'll be able to support my family and my loved ones.
Yeah.
But if I have the fame of the world, I'll be able to support the world.
Oh, that's good.
So I have to choose either give my family the best life possible with that money that I have, or give the world a real good
version of yourself.
yeah,
I get it.
and help them out instead of my family. So it's actually, you can think of fame versus fortune as the world versus
once
family.
you have the wealth, you don't need to necessarily put it all towards your family. You can quietly have that wealth, going through charity.
True.
But you're still no one. I'm just saying.
You're still a
You're still a no one.
nobody.
You're still a nobody, I know. I think for me, the thing is that legacy is so
Important.
edged in my mind that I have to leave a mark, that it almost makes me feel like even if I die penniless, it's cool. What is money? Money is a piece of paper with
Okay, but-
numbers written on it, right?
Leave a mark for how long will the mark
That's what I'm
be
thinking.
there?
So what I was thinking,
Because it's longer than the money. You're not taking the money with you in the afterlife.
but
right?
you're not taking the fame with you also either, right?
True, but the fame is still there, right?
It was for 100 years, bro. 100 years maximum.
Okay, cool.
You take 100 years of fame rather than.
So what I have this analogy ki we're all playing a poker game, okay? And we're all using our chips. So we take chips from others. Basically, if we play the cards well, we take chips from others, which is money and fame. But in the end, we all have to leave the table, right? We all have to cash in our chips. So it really does not matter. Again, it does not matter.
What would you choose? Money or fame? Either or.
Wealth.
Why not?
That was very fast, but-
Why not fame?
Yeah. Because after a time, everything you have to let go of it. With wealth, maybe the ideas that I give out with fame,
True.
they will fade away because attention span. With the wealth, I could
he's
support
right.
orphanages, victims of of bad stuff that happens in people's
True,
life.
for sure. But I think, yeah. What about you?
What about working for something but getting no fame? That's for me. That's something like you're working for something, you're doing the work, and you're fulfilling your purpose, but you're still getting no fame. I think that's fine by me. I get it. I get your legacy part. I am also very inclined towards the legacy thing. For me, it's also living a life worth living. Also, in the first place, I need to provide for my family. I need to provide for me in general. I mean, I want to live the life of luxury. I mean, I know it sounds too spoiled, but
when you say this, right, it makes me think most men in today's time think when they speak about wanting to have a lavish life, having a private yacht, having a private jet, living that fancy life, they automatically revert going back to saying, no, I mean not like, why is it why can't you say it with your chest high that you want to have that life with all
True.
of those things? You should, if you're working hard towards it, and if if you have made it through your own will, then why not say it proudly that you want to live that life? I mean that, and most men I've heard react the same way that you like and I don't understand. Like, you should openly say like, yeah, I want to live that 1% life because I feel that I have what it takes to live that life and I'm willing to work for it. Say it out, say it proudly.
But what I was saying is ki, like, so it's like, I know it sounds like, okay, again I'm saying the same, but it's too egotistical for me to think like I should have all the money in the world. But why not? Like, I mean, if I've worked for it, if I've hustled for it,
bro? Why not?
Yeah, and it's not like there's like I'm stealing someone's money. It's like there's money for everyone. Like, you just need to.
Exactly.
But the thing
that's
is,
a game, bro. That's what you started with saying. That's a game, right?
So coming back to the original question, money or fame, I choose money because right now, fame for me, I know I want to make it big. You know, I'm still conflicted. You know, I still think fame is something which all of us like need to aspire towards. But in the end, I would rather work for something, do it quietly, and still make an impact.
Yeah.
Rather than like just be full of like bland fame. Just like fame hai, but it's not your core purpose.
Yeah. Like, think of a superhero like Spider-Man. When he's wearing that mask and everyone's going around, he's webbing everywhere, everyone's cheering for him, he has that fame, but he has no money, right? He's helping the police.
Parker has no money.
Peter Parker has no money, but Spider-Man has that fame, right? He has the fame of the world.
But Peter Parker has no fame.
Peter Parker has no fame, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that he knows what it feels like to experience that fame, to experience the people's love, to be a man that everyone looks up to and wants to be like, but there's no money behind it, I know. But that feeling, bro, that feeling to sit on top of that Empire State Building or whatever he was sitting on top, and he's just looking down and everyone's looking at him and cheering for him, and that little kid is wearing the Spider-Man mask. People don't get to experience that. There have been so many rich people that have lived throughout, but those people that have been famous and have really made it, I think there are very few of them.
But Aaron, does it really matter? Like, honestly.
That's the thing, right? It just depends from person to person, and 95% of the people will choose wealth, and there's nothing wrong with it. Money is very important to me too. Like, that's the thing, right? I believe if I had the fame, I could get the fortune, and vice versa. If I had the fortune, I could get the fame. I think all three of us can get both. But if I had to choose either or, it's just that I feel that I would still choose fame just because, I don't know, I just feel like that will leave a mark.
I think what I'm saying is, don't you think like when you're famous, you're at that top, don't you think people will try to bring you down? They'll try to attack your family. Yeah. Peter Parker's family, he wears that mask because his family does not want to show his real face so that his family does not get attacked. So that's what I'm kind of scared about. Okay, like when you go to that level of fame, people will find ways to bring you down.
True. For sure, bro. That's a very good point. People try. You yourself reach a certain stage where it gets to you, that fame gets to you, and you start to bring yourself down. Not only the people around you, but as you said, it's a very good point that people will come after you, just like they did with Oppenheimer also, where he reached that level for fame where he was the man of the world, right? And everyone tried to take him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
like the thing you said about legacy. I feel like every person, no matter who, or everyone has that thing, you know, everyone wants to be remembered.
Yeah.
Whether it's through, you know, as you said, you know, make huge money, build the fame, give huge parts to charity of it, don't have that much money but still fame. I feel like every action that almost every one of us takes is in some way related to legacy. Yeah. We want to be remembered by our friends, classmates, colleagues.
Yeah.
Every small action we do.
Yeah.
That's why we, you know, do stuff bad. People do bad stuff and good stuff so that they are mentioned in a sentence in the future. Through children maybe, through their own children, through their friends, family, through their actions. Everyone wants to be remembered. There's that thing about, you know, being remembered.
But will we actually be remembered? That's the question, right? So like, or in the end, we're all just cashing the chips on the table, right? And it doesn't. How long do you want to be remembered? Like, I get it, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, but you're not going to get remembered for that long. You'll stay in people's minds for 100 years or something, and then it'll drift away. I mean, I get it, but see, it's just something it doesn't really matter. So why not just live the life you have right now? Why not seize the day? Why not seize every moment you have?
True.
I get your point. You know, honestly, I get the point.
I get both of your points, bro.
He gets though, because he is very into, you know, in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
Humanity itself doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Ooh.
Big spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, guys, humanity doesn't matter. Nothing
थोड़ा
matters.
16,000 साल पहले बोल दिया. I'm sorry. 16,000 billion. I don't know. 16 billion.
वो तो some other time we'll discuss that, यार. Third episode, चलो. नहीं, but coming back to masculinity, which was the centric, right? This is a good question that I have, and it's not as controversial. But do you think a man needs a woman to be more masculine? Do you think a man needs a woman by his side to feel more masculine or to be more of a man?
You want to go first?
This is tough. Okay.
I'm Kenneth.
What do you think? Honestly, I want to ask you first. I would say
very
yes.
Beautiful cop out.
No, I would say yes. Honestly, because a man's. I get it. I would put the purpose of the man before the woman, but the woman is still a core. Bro, it's just the polarity, like masculinity, femininity. You need an amount of femininity. You can't have both, right? You can't have both in yourself. Masculinity and femininity.
Exactly.
You need to have someone else you can come home to and be, honey, I've had a bad day, and all that stuff, okay? And then it's just like you need a woman in your life. You remember there's this quote like, behind every man is a woman or something, it's like a mother or something.
Behind every successful man is a woman. That's the quote.
So,
Wait a second, I just want to go back to that thing you said. Man's purpose before a woman's purpose. What
No, I mean, so for me, my first primary aim is to provide. Okay, and for me doing that, I need to fulfill my purpose. And I think the ability to, so if the girl, this is gonna get very controversial, but if the girl is like, I would place my goals over her any day. I mean, I'm sorry.
Why is that wrong to say?
Yeah, I know. It's just I was talking about what Rajveer was saying.
No,
so it's just no.
So I was because I know Rajveer has a very contrasting view to this specific topic, as I think me and Apoorva. This is the first time Apoorva and I are on one team, and Rajveer is on the other team. But I think because I've heard Rajveer say that you don't need a woman to be more masculine. I think you can do it yourself. I think, would you like to say it? Then I'll counter it because I have a counterpoint.
I don't think you need anyone to feel more masculine or be more masculine.
But you don't think having a woman by your side would increase your masculinity in any way?
That's the idea you have of masculinity. Like, my idea of it is very different. As I said before, it's a very complex concept, and it's different for everyone.
But then in the end, what is the point of masculinity? Is like, fulfill your purpose. It's to provide for your family,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, okay. What
I'll
is...
give you my point of view. In the modern, this age, I feel, be there for people, help them, be more open to, new experiences, support people.
Compassion.
Exactly, more compassionate, more considerate, while also taking action whenever required. Creating stuff, doing stuff.
But would you prioritize your goals over? So you're just saying you don't want. He
doesn't want. Talk about the goals.
Okay. So I feel relationships are an important part of life, but you don't need to be defined, by your relationship for you to be, more of a man.
But bro, don't you? I mean, this must be a very few of us still think like this. I know you're one of them. But don't you have this innate desire to want to provide and protect? Have you ever felt that? Like that innate desire in your heart that you want to provide and protect for this person?
I feel that every man has that in some way or the other. No matter, even though the world is changing, cultures are changing, we all have that, basically unconscious or subconscious mind way. There's this thing to, be able to, hold back your emotions. I'll make sure that everyone is okay. Provide for them. Protect them.
Exactly. So
what I'm saying is, like you said, that you don't need to be at your, you don't need to have a woman or a feminine source in your life to be at your core masculine purpose, right?
Yeah.
But so I disagree. I think Aaryan also disagrees.
I disagree fully. Tamas. Continue.
So I just want to ask you, why would you say, because for I think to establish that entire dynamic of masculinity and femininity to in the end become one together, one, I would say. You need to have a feminine source in your life, right? So again, the ambition part, if a man is too ambitious, it can lead to his downfall in the end also. But you need to have a woman in your life that, okay, I get it, you're getting too ambitious, but like, I'm not saying slow down, but just tread carefully where you're going.
What if that woman is also very, ambitious?
But then, I don't think she'll be attracted to you. So if you're a very masculine man, no?
Yeah.
And if she's a very masculine woman, I don't think it kind of goes together.
I don't feel that, because I feel the power couple thing where that comes from.
But is that even a good relationship?
I feel that is a very good relationship, because both are independent individuals. They don't rely on each other. They don't need each other. They want each other. And I feel that a want being...
Can you explain what?
Want dies, Rajveer. Want dies. Need is more important, I feel. Need is something that is long lasting.
I feel want is, you have standards when you have a want. If you need someone, you will settle for anyone.
But that's the thing, right? Like, as Apoorva said also, I think it's very important to have a feminine source in your life, especially if it's your woman, the one you're going home to. I think she adds a lot of spiritual value to your life. And I think every man, if he's a real masculine man and if he has a lot of masculine energy, to just keep that at a very high level, you still need to have a feminine energy that contrasts with it and equally balances it out. If a woman has a similar masculine energy as you do, and you're going home to a woman of that sort of energy, I just don't feel you can reach your peak. I think you need to find a woman who, when you go home to her, she should bring that feminine side of her, bring that feminine energy of hers, and it just adds so much value to your. I think for me also, I think personally, I've always felt that being surrounded by, not only as a relationship partner, but being surrounded by feminine women, just as friends also, it makes me feel much better. For some reason, I just feel a certain way.
It cools you. It kind of calms you down.
It brings me down to a level where I'm blissful.
I want you to define, what you mean by masculine energy and feminine energy.
Okay. So for you want to go?
Because according to me, every person has that, in both energies in some way.
I agree. I totally agree with your point.
Hormones are there, right?
I just feel like women have feminine energy. So it's like, I would say, a man who is more feminine will be attracted to a more masculine woman because of the polarity.
True.
Both of us have both of them have the hormones. I'm just saying that a man who's more feminine will be attracted to a dominant woman and who wants to provide for the family.
Yes, agreed.
And a more masculine man would want to go home to a girl who's honey, how was your day? And would calm her down, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I think.
I feel like the definitions you guys are talking about, it's more related to power dynamic.
Okay. So what is your what do you think of masculinity and femininity as in the thing?
As you said, to provide, protect. I feel the innate sense of, humans to, no matter whatever the relationship is, or whatever kind of relationship is, every woman, no matter, as you guys said, the power dynamic, even if she's more dominant and stuff, she has that, innate sense that she wants to be with a man who could, provide for her, protect her when the time comes.
So that's being dependent on the man, right?
It's not being dependent.
You're talking about being dependent on the man, right? So if you're saying
that, that has to be the way.
So you're saying the man is a backup, as in...
No. I'm saying that in the back of the, unconscious mind, not consciously, every man wants to, protect and provide.
Agreed. Yeah.
And everyone wants her man to protect and provide for her.
I agree.
When the situation comes. It can be a different situation, than the traditional thing, where the man is the housemaker and the woman is,
that I completely agree with you. But all I'm saying is, I believe, for me, I don't think a man wants to, so when a woman gets more dominant than a man, if he has a very masculine figure, he won't feel very, happy that, she's more dominant. Okay, I have one good question that will, cancel us. But, would you be okay if your woman or your wife earns more than you?
That's a good one.
And has more fame than you? So answer.
Very
Very cancelling question.
Very good question, Apoorva. Thank you. I think personally, as much as I'd like to believe no,
Yeah.
it will affect me, because I feel as the man of the house, it is my duty to provide for her, and if she's earning more than me, and if she's a bigger, if she has more fame than me, as he said,
It hurts.
I wouldn't be happy in a relationship. As much as I'd like to say no, she might be the love of my life, she might be the perfect person for me, but in the long run, I just won't be happy, and that will be a relationship that I would not want to be a part of. And as sexist as it sounds, I think a relationship is better.
If the man
The man is the breadwinner of the family.
Thank God they said it, but yeah. And for me personally, no, I don't see myself getting into a relationship like that as such.
Yeah.
I think for me, if the woman is dependent on me to some extent, or if I'm earning for her, it makes me work twice as hard. I think I told this to Rajveer also. The reason why I would prefer a more dependent woman is because that would make me work twice as hard, because I know I have to provide for her too. If she's earning more than me,
That's beautifully put, yeah.
if she's earning more than me, right, I don't have that need to provide for her.
Responsibility.
I don't have the responsibility of her, and I'll be like, chal, theek hai yaar, if I'm not working as hard, it's fine. I just have to look at my own life and it's fine. But if I have to look at her life and my children's life, I'll work 5 times as hard, brother. And for that reason, I would prefer a dependent woman for my own, for me to reach my own success. What are you?
For me, that's, you beautifully put it. I feel that there's always, no, especially at this point of time, no matter how much we want to deny it, there will always be,
It hurts,
that sort of thing. It will be there.
For sure.
But the thing is, okay, I won't mind as long as, we are doing work that is equally fulfilling to us. Of course, that's natural to, feel hurt, and because that has been the way, since the beginning, I feel.
True. And there's nothing wrong with it. A woman can definitely be the bread maker of the family.
But it's just not us.
But it's not something I would personally prefer.
It's personal.
It's
Yeah, it's personal. I agree.
Preferences, right? Yeah. What about you? What do you?
I personally won't mind.
You won't mind?
Yeah, that's what he said. He wouldn't mind. What about you? What do you think?
I thought, bro, for me it'll... Again, I have the same thing, like it will hurt
Also,
a lot.
one more thing. Sorry.
Continue.
So, like, if your identity is tied to the fact that, who earns the more money or who's the breadwinner, I don't feel that, that's the relationship I personally would want to be in.
Okay. So, can you elaborate on this? Because that's a good point. I mean, so what is a relationship for you? What is it tied to?
What is a good relationship tied to?
So what you're saying, it's not like dependency and money and all, right?
Okay.
For us, it's providing for the family and all. What is it for you?
For me, what my ideal relationship would be like. Okay, so keeping about these things, I'll go into 5, it might sound very vague. You both should love each other. That's the thing. Care for each other. Respect each other. You both could, go home and talk to each other about stuff. You could be emotionally vulnerable in front of them completely. Also, you could talk as if, they're not judging you.
Wow.
Like, there's,
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, it's therapeutic.
I think what he put across was beautiful, but I'd like to... The third point you made was respect. That both of you should respect each other. Do you think if she's earning more than you, much more than you, and more famous than you, and etc., honestly, in the long run, do you think she'd respect you more than if you were the bread maker, if you were providing for her, if you were the man of the house? Do you think that respect dynamic would change much more, or do you think it doesn't matter?
Honestly, it would depend on the woman. Also, there's this thing, I feel that she would, motivate me to, work harder. If she's, already,
Okay,
she has achieved so much, she would motivate me to, work harder so that, I'm living up to, that title. The power couple thing, as I said before.
But you said it won't matter, right?
It won't matter.
Then why would you work harder?
Yeah, but, okay, if we are taking into consideration, that could, factor. I'm not saying it will, but it could, things could, lean that way that she both are, so that both, are, perfectly healthy or equal level pe.
What about you? What do you think for you? Do you think you earning much more and you being the more famous or whatever, do you think that's more important to you, and why is it more important to you?
So the thing is ki if I have to achieve my core masculine essence, right? For that I need to be earning more, and because if I want to choose a woman who's more as a who has more feminine nature, she'd be more like caring, nurturing. She won't be very like involved in the matters of I need to provide.
Yeah.
For that, she can leave that to me, and I can leave the caring part to her.
He disagrees. Please.
I was going to say that the providing and thing. She could be very caring and nurturing while at the same time,
But isn't it like, I get it, but isn't it a little tough to like, because it's easier to like one person provides and one person cares, right? So it's like you can distribute it. If you put it in both in one person,
that's the thing,
it's kind of tough,
like,
right?
The thing is not that a man has to be the this and the woman has to be the caring,
but it shouldn't be her responsibility to provide for the house.
So it shouldn't be a responsibility to provide for the house.
Yeah.
So whose responsibility should it be to provide for the house?
Both are.
Wait. You're saying it should be her responsibility, but on the other side you're saying ki matlab the woman you're okay with the woman making more.
Yeah.
But then the woman is only providing, right, for the house.
Yeah. I'm saying it's both of how they manage it. It's
Okay.
It depends on the relationship a lot, but it shouldn't be either one's responsibility to provide. There's that thing, as I said.
No, but isn't that responsibility a good thing? Isn't that responsibility something you want as a man?
Purpose. It's your kind of goal. It's like,
it is. That responsibility is a very good thing to have in the back of your mind, that okay, I'm responsible for being this person.
That is a driving factor. And it kind of, as much as I want to deny it, it possibly will, come into play.
Exactly, right.
But I feel like it should change.
So for you it doesn't matter. Like the point is that both of you have to love each other.
Yeah.
Both of you have to respect each other. And
if the relationship dynamic mein, she should feel comfortable, ki matlab I could provide, I have the ability to provide and protect her, no matter what stage we are in currently.
That's the thing. I just don't see a woman thinking that way for you if she's earning much more than you. That's just me being brutally honest.
But what you're saying, so what I said is ki like if you agree ki
I feel that this episode is going to get us cancelled completely.
If you agree ki women are more emotional in general, don't you think you're stripping away the power of her being more emotional and being able to care for you when she's the one providing for you? Like when she's the one who's earning more than you, who's like putting all the hours in 9 to 5, basically what I'm saying. Don't you think she has so much on her mind that she forgets to care for you?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's what he said in the starting earlier, that he doesn't really need the woman to care for him because he doesn't see that as a important aspect of being a man. It's fine. Like she doesn't have to play that caring role in his life. He doesn't really see that as something that's needed. Whereas for me, it is something that I want because it's something that I feel after a long day of work, right? Yeah. Going back home and just having someone to having someone to just who cares about me and who's asking me how my day went and just is there for me. That will not happen if she's coming home with an equally tired day, maybe even more tired than I am, and she's worked even harder, and she's coming home and she's not going to be there for me. It's both of us are going to be equally tired, and we're going to go to sleep like, okay, fine, it was good. We both did our job today, and we went to sleep.
But if she has a more tiring day, maybe the man could, ask her how did her day
go. For sure, yeah. A man
it's a natural thing, but we could push towards more, making space for equal partnership in a relationship.
Is there something as equal? So again, is there?
Do you want to really get into the relationships now? I think we're driving.
You want to get into masculinity again? Okay.
Because this is a whole different episode.
This is a different episode.
Relationships are a whole different episode. We'll bring a girl on.
But आधा तो cancel हो गया भाई अपना.
Yeah, that I know. Okay, yeah, fine. But what I'm saying is what I'm saying is when we speak about relationships, we'll have a girl on as well, and so we can hear a contrasting view as to what girls in today's time feel as compared to what we are feeling. We'll have a girl on here and we'll try to discuss that.
Very tough, but okay, we'll make it work.
But wait, so coming back to emotions, men experiencing emotions, I have a good question. Do you think do you think it's important for men to express themselves emotionally? Do you think a man crying openly in front of his people, do you think that's a sign of strength or weakness? Men crying
or in front of a woman.
In front of
everyone.
Men just crying, being more
crying.
Emotionally driven, just showing their emotions openly. Do you think that's a sign of strength or weakness?
We always come up with the toughest questions.
Just
Publicly crying a man.
You agree? Like, sorry, what is the...
What are your thoughts?
I feel that expressing and communicating feelings is good, but it's pretty difficult to answer this because you don't know what the person is going through. Just publicly crying if it's over a very small issue, I feel just have a better control at emotions like.
Not publicly, but like
in front of his girl.
In front of his girl, in front of his few friends, just be doing that. And from what I've heard, is most people have told me that that's a sign of strength.
But what is your opinion?
I'm not answering my own question. This is not how it works.
Okay. Of course, you have to answer this.
Chalo, bhai. Me and Rajveer are going to answer later. First, Aaryan answers.
Has to answer.
I was the only one who was not going to get cancelled, and now it's all three of us who are cancelled.
But I'm getting cancelled first.
I know, and then he also.
Probably the biggest hypocrite on internet.
My question.
Actually, I think you were the best, to be honest, compared to all three of us.
We're going to get cancelled for sure. Both of us. We have a very traditional view.
But okay, let me say that. I believe, zoom in. I think crying is a sign of weakness, and I'll give you my reasons as to why. I think if you had to cry, if you really had to let your emotions out as a man, you should do it by yourself and you're alone. And if you really had to, do it alone. And the reason why you don't have to do it in front of your friends, or especially the centric was in front of your woman, as much as she'd like to say that she still respects you and she still loves you and she respects you even more,
she won't.
Her respect is not going to be there in the long run, and that's the harsh fact. If she sees you cry, her idea or image of you as being that hero or as being that rock, it's not there anymore. I think women want a man who's her rock, who'll be who's just so strong. No matter what the circumstance, he's strong. He's just there. He's unfazed, right? And I think when you cry, you got it.
Unfazed.
Right? When you cry and you let yourself just express yourself so openly, her belief of you being there for her as that rock is gonna not be there anymore, and that might cause a lot of problems in the relationship in the long run. So I think crying is a sign of weakness in my opinion, and it's just not something a man should do in front of his woman especially. What do you all think now? I've answered my own question. Very smart, thank you guys. But now both of you, what are your thoughts?
Apoorva, you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. So the thing is ki I agree with Aaryan mostly, but I do feel like once a while it is okay to let it out. Like it's okay to let your emotions out. But I agree with if your relationship, your dynamics will get screwed in the end.
You agree, right?
Yeah, I do agree. But what about crying with the boys? Daru night with the boys.
Ooh,
I feel it builds a deeper bond.
It does build a deeper bond.
With the pros,
you remember we had
with the pros, it's a different story. We're talking about with your woman, but like with the guys, it's a whole different story because you can cry in front of your boys. I think that's still.
I still, it's very particular. Like crying in general, what are you crying about depends a lot.
What was the last thing you cried about, Rajveer?
Okay.
What was the last thing you cried?
Actually full,
not fully, but like gave you more than a few tears.
Okay.
You shed more than a few tears.
I shed. Okay. Last time it was in therapy.
Really? What was it about? Like what was it?
Childhood stuff mostly.
Okay.
What about you?
That's the thing. I don't remember.
But honestly,
I swear.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember the last time I cried.
I remember the time when I was down. I don't remember the time.
Same. I've been down, but I've not cried. Even alone or in front of my brothers, whatever. Not really.
I feel it's healthy to let out your emotions once in a while, but do so in a a healthy way.
Like journaling.
Very good point. Okay, you speak about that. That's a very good point.
Right.
I think men So that's the thing, right? I think I'll tell you why if you cry, it's not a good thing. That's a very good point. Actually, I had spoken about this before with someone. When you're crying, your way of expressing yourself or your emotions, the channel of doing that becomes crying. You're expressing yourself or your emotions through crying. When you can actually use that sadness or that motivation that you have to do something far better, which will actually benefit you, like going to the gym and lifting the heaviest you ever have, boxing, or having engaging in some combat
You're saying
activity,
channelizing the
channelizing that energy that you have. I'm not saying keep it inside. It's definitely good to let it out, but you should let it out in the right way. And I think if you cry, you're letting it out in a way that's not really benefiting you. If you instead go to the gym and lift, trust me, if you are feeling like you want to let out and if you want to cry, instead of crying, go to the gym, you'll lift heavier than you ever have. I can guarantee you this.
Yeah, I agree.
See, as I said before, like, it's about what you're crying. Suppose your mother died.
Okay, another question. Oh, this is a very...
See, that's the thing.
No,
about
so what I'm
crying.
thinking...
Sometimes it's okay to cry, in front of your partner.
I mean, yeah.
But wait,
That's a whole...
should you cry at your father's funeral? Would you cry at your father's funeral?
I probably would.
I would.
I would too, but should you? Because everyone's crying around you. You have to stand, you have to be the rock, as he said.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of depending on you, looking at you, because you're the son, right?
Hmm.
And if you're the one who's showing strength, it's not that you don't love him. It's not that you didn't care for him. It's just people need you more than ever right now.
You need people more than ever, right? That's the thing. They don't.
You do need people,
It's,
but
very hypothetical for us right now.
actually,
When life hits you, you never know how you're going to react to it.
I
No
probably
matter how
think
much
even
you
I
plan
will.
to.
Even I
But
will
as much
cry.
as you can, you should, I feel, reserve it and use it to channelize it in a better way. Because don't you think when you... Okay, fine. It definitely depends situation to situation. But don't you think most situations where you feel like crying could be used as motivation for something else?
Okay, I personally have this thing that, going to therapy or journaling, helps me keep and manage my emotions,
in
in
keeping
the
in
right
check.
way.
Yeah, you're right.
Perfect. Yeah.
And if I let it out at times, I feel like therapy is the best way for me. May not be for everyone. And journaling is, to keep the daily check on your emotions and
Journaling
feelings
is a
and
very good
thoughts.
way also. Yeah.
So if that keeps in check, I have a much lesser chance of breaking down or burned out. But it's natural, and it's okay to sometimes cry. We should in fact be more compassionate about it. When we see someone, it's okay. We are thinking that it's as a sign of weakness, but instead we could as Jim Gordon did for Bruce Wayne. That it's okay, but in fact support them and help them
When they're down, he's right. I don't
go
disagree.
from there.
But yeah, I would rather, for myself personally at least, even if I really want to cry, I would just not do it. It makes me feel a certain way that I don't want to. I don't want to be vulnerable in front of people. I think it's important as a man to...
No. I think vulnerable is not the thing. You're saying weak. I don't know. You can't call crying weak. But vulnerable is not crying. Vulnerable does not have
I'm
to
saying at
restrict
that
to
level. Being vulnerable at that level. Where you're
In
like...
that way.
In that way. Right. I think that can still be...
You don't want to be emotionally vulnerable about it.
And show people. Like, I mean, doing it alone is a different story. But doing it in front of people, especially in front of your woman, in front of your girl, I don't see myself doing it for some reason. And I mean, yeah, the thing is, it's very hypocritical for me because I expect her to come crying to me when she needs it. If she has any problem and if she's upset about something, I expect her to think of me as the first person she would want to cry in front of.
What about crying at your failure of achieving your goal?
I don't think I'd cry about it. I'd be upset, but why? I don't think I'd cry about it.
It's like, actually, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I also feel that not crying about stuff, it's pretty understandable to feel that way. Why a lot of men in general, I would say, have that restrained emotion thing.
Yeah.
That's why like earlier I feel of course a lot of it was preconceived notions, gender stereotypes, but a lot of it was men were better at they had this stereotype that men will handle their emotions better, even women can handle them better. I'm not saying that, but there was this preconceived notion. That's why for missions, wars, men's were.
Yeah.
Of course, there was sexism and stuff.
Yeah, true. I agree.
But
No,
this
that makes
also,
sense.
in some small factor way, it played a role.
I guess when he's talking about the war, I don't think men had time to cry. Like they were more focused on like the enemy ahead. They were
exactly.
They're more focused on like death literally
Imagine
at their
death,
face.
Imagine
Yeah.
death walking towards you and you can't cry. You have to pick up the gun and fight.
Bro, it's
Men were made to do that, and I
Yeah.
think there's a reason why. Because we have that ability to not fall for our emotions at that moment and just fight through. Every man has that, and I think it's important to as you said, that it's important to just fight at that moment and not let yourself go completely.
What about crying at heartbreak? Would you cry at heartbreak?
I haven't.
You have. What about you?
And having had heartbreak. or
No,
something.
I'm just saying. What if you have a heartbreak?
Yeah, I haven't cried at heartbreak. I think first time I had heartbreak was when I was a skinny fucker, and that's why I look like this now.
But what if it's like you think? Like I don't know. But what if you think it's like the true love of your life, and she's left you, and there's no one around you. You're just all alone. Would you
We are
cry?
getting into more, true love things.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, another topic for.
next episodes for sure.
Oh my god,
Heartbreak
bro.
and breakups.
But yeah, coming back to masculinity centric, right? What other male? But we
Role
already
models.
spoken about. Yeah,
You want to talk about the most controversial role model, or should we keep him for another episode?
Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
We can.
Okay, like top 5 male role models.
I mean, do you
Currently.
believe in Andrew Tate's ideology that traditional masculinity is a thing and it should be there in each and every man, that traditional masculinity, masculine figure? Do you think that's good for society?
Ask him.
Rajveer, the man who has not gotten cancelled yet.
Okay, so the thing is, I feel he's right about some stuff, wrong about some stuff. So like the work ethic, the ability to provide, but the thing is, be more dominant and stuff, and be more aggressive.
But don't you think like we've become weaker in general, that we need to become more
So-
aggressive?
That's a good topic. We can talk about aggression. Is that a good,
Aggression,
is that a
do
good
you
emotion?
tie that to masculinity?
100%. 100%.
You do? I guess male aggression is a thing, right? So
Male
Male
aggression.
aggression is a thing. It definitely is. It's there somewhere, but I feel like, as the culture is changing, we should try and change that, to
But why-
resolve
why-
conflict and stuff in a non-violent way. But there's that thing, if you're in a fight, hit first, hit hard.
yeah, so it's like if you remember, there's this quote like, if you see me in a fight with the bear, with the bear, you should pray for the bear because I am not gonna stop.
Ooh, that's
So,
a good one, bro.
It's like we
Damn.
need that aggression in our lives.
There's-
Because it kind of, with that aggression is kind of like it's like a speed boost
Yeah.
towards your goals, towards your vision.
I feel, I agree that male aggression, it helps if you channelize it properly, it helps a lot. But if you are not channelizing it properly, if you're, taking out that frustration in a relationship with your parents, children, with your friends and stuff,
So-
unhealthy drinking and stuff.
Okay, that's a good one. So
Picking
you're
up
saying
a- yeah.
channel the aggression in a good way, right?
Also-
Like, as you said,
Yeah.
boxing and stuff.
Jordan Peterson puts it in the most beautiful manner, which I remembered. The quote he says is that people say that men should be weak and should
Monster
not be
man.
aggressive.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peterson has put it in the perfect manner. He said that you should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
Yeah.
And I think that is the most important thing. Like, don't be weak. Don't be not aggressive. Don't be. It's important to be peaceful also at times, but have that aggression, have that monster inside of you, and then know how to control it. Let it out only when it is absolutely necessary,
Right.
Like a warrior.
like a warrior, right? You
The
don't.
warrior and the garden code.
That guy, yeah, of course, that code is always there. Better to be a warrior in a garden
than a gardener in a war.
gardener in a war. So, I fully believe in that. I think aggression is something that is a very negative term in today's society, as most people put it. But aggression is such a beautiful emotion in a man's that a
The
man
energy.
experiences, and that energy, it's such a drive. Like, you can do so much with it. You can work 10 times as harder that you would have if you didn't have that aggression in you. And I've experienced it personally. When I'm feeling aggressive and I have that aggression in me to do something, I use it to do the right thing, and I do it in a much better and efficient manner. So aggression is a good
Aggression is a good driving force. I
good
agree.
driving force for sure,
I
bro.
completely agree with that.
You know?
Because it helps you, move forward Like that aggression, I feel, is a part of every man somewhere.
Yeah.
That ambition thing maybe comes from there, because that there's that energy. You have to put it somewhere.
True.
I decide to put it in, I'll do all of this stuff because that makes me feel,
You want to prove it. You want to prove it to people.
prove your worth.
Prove your worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I? Like,
Yeah. That energy.
That is a different topic. Who am I? Okay, we'll go with
yeah. Sense of identity.
What do you think? Aggression? When I say
Stoicism is a beautiful way, I guess.
Yeah. But I agree.
Have all that power, the need to do right stuff, the want to do the right stuff, channeling it in a non-violent way without attaching yourself to, the outcomes and stuff.
Yeah,
I think.
beautiful put. Yeah.
Putting in the efforts.
When I say aggression, what comes to mind?
I completely, तूने जो बोला completely ditto. Like I completely agree with the male aggression part, and I agree with your point also that you need to channel aggression in proper forms. He said about the drinking part. Like I agree with you that drinking part is something which
Unhealthy
उसमें
drinking,
aggression,
binge eating.
yes, उसमें aggression बिल्कुल नहीं आना चाहिए. So again, we need to leverage the forms of the good channels we have, and we need to उस पे जाके we have to. Aggression is not bad. It's just the way we use the aggression. That's basically,
That's the thing, right? People are using that aggression, that energy, in such bad shit and unnecessary shit in today's time.
And aggression will, in the end, lead to strength in general. So, like, if you don't have that aggression, you will not have if you have a fight with someone, and if you're not able to defend yourself only, what's the point of that strength if you don't have that aggression?
But yeah, in a situation where you are encountered with violence, this is another question of mine. When you're encountered with violence, what approach would you take? Would you take the peaceful approach?
Give me a scenario.
Yeah, actually.
I mean,
was it like weapons and stuff?
Not weapons. It's a street fight, and you can take either approach. No one's wrong, no one's right. Both of y'all, it's a subjective thing.
I'd stand up,
but he's coming. He's coming to punch you, or he's coming for you.
Is he bigger than me? Is he muscular than me?
I mean, you think you can take him. He's same like you. You think you can take him on, but
same size, but he's very angry and he is going to punch you.
He is going to punch you. Sure. Which approach would you take? Would you be like, no, I don't need. I'm better than this. I don't need to do it, or would you swing for the head?
I'd de-escalate the situation first. I will talk to him. If he does not like, I'd de-escalate. I'd talk to him. Is everything okay? I'm sorry. Sorry, I won't say sorry immediately, but like. And ask him if you can like calm the situation down. If you can calm the situation down from their perspective. I want to look at from his side.
Okay.
Why he's doing that to me, and if I still feel like I'm still in the right, and he's still doing it for no reason, and he's just an asshole, then of course then I have to do what it takes. And I just have to. I hit him.
You feel the same way? I think you feel the same way.
I feel the same way.
Makes sense.
Also, if I'm, if like he's still here. I would go fast and hard and take the first punch and have that element of surprise.
That's actually good.
I mean, yeah. I think every man should know how to fight. That's something that
they should know how to protect themselves. And,
it's the monster code again. It's you have to be a monster. You have to be willing to.
I think and the thing is that people say that it's not needed and stuff, but I feel as a man, the masculine essence of having that ability to protect. The ability to protect is a real masculine energy in you that you should keep, and I think every man should know how to throw a punch and should know how to defend the people he loves around him. And even your woman, when you're in a relationship, your girl expects you to be able to protect her at any given scenario, right? And if you're not able to do that, you've always taken the peaceful approach.
You should always have that provide and protecting, as you said before.
I think you
should always have the ability to. You have the choice to
exactly,
but you should always be able to protect
100%.
and provide.
That's the thing. Ability to be able to protect and provide is every man's essence, and he should have that. I agree.
He should have that.
But I don't think we're there yet. I'm just saying, for
obviously.
me, I honestly.
No, all of us are not there yet. But we're working towards it. That's what we can do at this age. We're working towards it, and that's what every person at our age should do, right?
True.
For sure.
All right. One last question for me. What do you think is the future of masculinity in this world? Do you think it's dying? Do you think there'll be a new renaissance? Have you guys heard about the Renaissance?
No, what is
So the Renaissance was a period where so after there was there's a little so you heard of the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
So where it was not a good time and there was economic depression and all.
Yeah.
And then came the period of the Renaissance, where men in general, they started going through classical philosophy, started going into the hard sciences, changing the future of the world. And that period, from the little dark ages to the Renaissance, it's a massive change, massive. That's when men stood up and they were like, we have to change the world. Because again, the same code, like strong men create good times create weak men create hard times create strong men. That code. So what do you think is the future going forward? Do you think it will be like the Renaissance, or do you think men will be weaker in general, or will be weak in general?
Aaryan, do you want to go first or should I?
You go first.
Okay, don't laugh, but I'll come back to Fight Club.
I love that movie. Like
We
have a big history about Fight Club, which we'll talk about some other day.
Okay, so the thing is, the movie does that in a really good way. Like, at this point, we don't have a war to fight, religion, all that stuff. But we all, have this thing that there should be a purpose. And we are struggling with that. Not just men, I feel women as well. All people are struggling with that to have a purpose, because religion is collapsing. A lot of young generation does not believe in God and stuff. We are searching for that. There's the dopamine hit thing, social media thing. We'll do this, we'll earn more money, do that. But there's that thing that I feel having the right role models plays a great role into it. And the thing that toxic masculinity, it's because men at this point, Andrew Tate is very controversial. He's getting the attention. Men, I feel, want that attention, who are not getting that.
Okay.
The men who fluctuate to, Andrew Tate fans are men who are, I feel, not all men and, people who fluctuate towards Andrew Tate's philosophy are that way. But not most of them are, maybe. Some of them, I feel, are, getting in the wrong direction. Instead, having role models like Shah Rukh, as you said, Barack Obama, leaders like that. Even like, if you want to pick a Hollywood celebrity, Ryan Reynolds, I feel he's a great, the power couple thing. Blake Lively and him.
Okay, yeah.
Good couple, they, do all of the stuff. Great actors, have a good professional, they are really funny. Bollywood, you could take Ranveer Singh. I feel him and Deepika are really good couple.
Okay, bro, I don't know. I'm very sure about Ranveer
Okay,
Singh.
we don't.
Ranveer Singh is a little. I just saw the new movie, Rocky or Running.
Ranveer Singh is not a.
No, Ranveer Singh I don't mind, but I just feel like
he's very loud and stuff, but he's very open and
no, that I completely agree.
Warm.
It's just the new movie got me, like the Rocky Rani, if you remember. Ranveer Singh kissing Alia Bhatt and all. It was like kind of, I don't know.
I mean, that's his profession, bro.
I know it's his profession, but like.
You didn't like the movie or did like the movie?
I didn't like the first half. Second half was good. Second half was very nice.
I agree. Second half was really good.
Rocky Rani का भी review करना है.
Achha, but Rajveer, like future of masculinity, do you think it's gonna get weaker?
I feel like if young people start choosing, the right role models and people to look up to, it, has a hope to turn into something that's, strong, and while at the same time being very compassionate, open, could take the world forward. Instead of, getting back into, comfortable zone and, this
Chilling and all, yeah, I get it. So,
take control of lives for others, for yours as well.
True.
Take the command,
True.
lead, be compassionate, be confident. Chivalry is very important, I think.
Chivalry is such a beautiful term which
It's a beautiful factor,
about, yeah.
What makes a good man, it's one of the factors, I feel.
For sure.
for sure.
The confidence, the self-esteem, don't, put yourself down and, when someone treats you badly, you don't need to hit them back, but, don't unnecessarily go through the bad bashing and don't, constantly discourage yourself. And always be open to new values, try new ideas, new ideologies, build something that, that you like. Also see that how are other people responding to it.
That is beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
Yeah, very well put.
Very well put.
I think coming back to your question, I feel, I think sadly, masculinity will never be at its peak as it was in the past. I think the peak has died. I think the masculinity peak, which it was already long back in our history, and all we can do right now is hope that we don't go lower than what it is right now, get it back up to a certain level. Never, it won't reach the era that we were before. But sadly, the way the world is going right now, I believe that masculinity is going to reduce if there are not more people standing up for the essence of being a man and speaking about it openly. I think it will go down a very poor path, unfortunately.
I actually still hope that masculinity will revive itself because 2-3 years ago there was no Andrew Tate, there was no extremist people call him extremist masculine figures, but it is because of him that a lot of men have
This
started
masculinity topic came into conversation.
and it's now mainstream that people are actually paying attention to it. No one was paying attention to it in 2 years ago.
True.
So I believe this is the start of a movement, and I guess it's the start of reviving masculinity in general.
Hopefully.
And men being more responsible. It's what made me start reading more into this stuff and
that's the thing, right, bro? Andrew Tate, as much as people hate on him and stuff, the people that I know, all my friends, my guy friends, I know so many people who have started going to the gym because of Andrew Tate, and I'm not even kidding. There's not a single person whose life has been affected in the bad way because of Andrew Tate, but I know more than numerous people who have literally been hitting the gym because Andrew Tate has been telling them, have been disciplined because Andrew Tate has been telling them. And I think a person like him is he's doing more good in the world. Yeah, sure, he said some controversial shit about women and stuff which I don't agree with.
We don't know about his history. So, but what he's saying.
But if you really,
some of the stuff that we really like, he's like, take control of your life.
Take control of your life. The work ethic.
Yes.
Work ethic.
The physical shape. Get into the best shape possible. All of that stuff, it really...
Take control of your life and live the fuck out of it.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
I think people like him are coming out more and more as time is going by. So as you said, there is a hope of revival of masculinity. But yeah, hopefully that we can add some value to it too. And that people can also, as we are on this journey, we can bring people on this journey too of, working towards the betterment of society.
You also feel like masculinity will evolve.
The definition of masculinity will change.
It has
already
and
it will in the future.
Will be more open to ideas, I feel, than the traditional ones.
Yeah.
But that's how, everything in time goes.
True.
Everything changes, the definition changes. There still will be some part of it that's still there, but there will be change and evolve into a much more healthier, compassionate, strong.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
I think Jordan Peterson is also good.
Yeah, for sure.
Good masculine figure.
Very good.
I feel like
we've spoken about a good few of them. I spoke a bit about Peterson. We spoke about Shah Rukh and Andrew Tate at the end, obviously.
I feel Jordan Peterson, the earlier some of the stuff was really good, but over the years,
Politics.
Politics is...
David Goggins also, what about
Oh, beautiful guy, beautiful. I read his book.
Carry the boats.
Beautiful.
Also, male role models me David Beckham.
Beckham?
David
Why would you say Beckham?
He's just very...
He's just very handsome, is that why?
No. Dude, I would have said Tom Cruise too.
No, I was going to say Bradley Cooper because he's really handsome, I don't know.
Dwayne Johnson also.
Dwayne Johnson, bro, honestly, when you look at Dwayne Johnson, that guy has no... I don't know, I've never seen someone hating on Dwayne Johnson. It's very weird. Everyone loves him. And
he's actually a good figure to look up to. He has the physique,
hardest worker in the room. Yeah,
hardest worker in the room. He has the regime, work ethic. He does all these movies and stuff. Some trashy movies I won't.
No, but his action, he gives it.
But he gives it his all.
Yeah.
He's not that great of an actor, but he's one of the highest paid actors. He's utilizing all that stuff, and he's very warm guy.
Yeah.
The thing about masculinity, I feel the warmth. I feel that's very underrated thing about masculinity. Even with Shah Rukh, as you said, the warmth that
comfort that he brings around the people.
Positive side.
The positive energy. That's why I like what Ranveer Singh, as I said.
Yeah.
Even Tom Cruise, the way he has a smiling face. Earlier he said stuff about Scientology and stuff. And his marriages haven't worked out that well. But the way he's willing to put 200% of himself at 61, he's running all that stuff.
Yeah,
he's doing physical fitness. He brings everyone up. And even when someone like the COVID recording thing, when people were not following the protocols, he shouted at, because that was important to him. His job, his purpose is very important, and he is willing to piss people off for it. While at the same time being so warm and so giving.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think I'd like to end it also from my part is masculinity. If people are interested in it, and if they want to look up to a role model or a guy when it comes to being perfect 0.001% man, I think there's no better man than Maximus Decimus from the Gladiator.
Yeah.
We spoke about this before also. I think there's no one else to look up to. If you want to talk about a real man with every masculine trait that you should have, I think Maximus Decimus Meridius from the Gladiator, there is no other better character.
Batman. Bro, I agree with you. Honestly.
Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius. He's like, yeah, I agree.
So
We covered a lot today.
spoke about a lot, yeah.
Masculinity, and I think, bro, honestly, today's topic was very insightful.
Yeah, very
it was
good.
provocative, but it led to
It's
good.
our own personal opinion.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're open to changing, as
That's the
time
thing,
goes.
that we have, all of us have different opinions, but the fact that we, express ourselves and just respect each other's opinion, hear each other out, that's the best part.
So time it will change it.
Yeah.
We have a lot to work on, right?
Yeah.
We have to learn a lot.
we
All of us have
we
to
have
learn.
so much to work on when it comes to masculinity, and to get where we want to get to. We have a long journey, but we're ready to work hard and
sure.
go towards it. And
For
we hope
sure,
you all
for sure.
join us on this journey.
So,
Guys, so
keep listening to the
productive.
Procrastination.
Podcast.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Good night.